An 18-year-old girl was found dead by the roadside, stripped from the waist down and bearing signs of severe abuse. Her upper clothing was pushed above her chest, and her body was covered with bruises, showing the horrors she endured before death. The condition of her body was deeply disturbing, and what shocked investigators even more was that this case, once pursued, uncovered connections to two other murders from years ago. Without the police's persistence, the killer might have fled without consequence. But behind this crime lay a truth stranger than fiction. On the 8th day of the Chinese New Year in 2011, Xiao Yun, from Yongsheng County, Yunnan Province, set off with her boyfriend to celebrate with her sister. Her sister was excited to welcome both of them and began preparing a meal. After finishing, she called Xiao Yun to check how much longer they'd take. Xiao Yun replied that they were close and would arrive shortly, but after waiting for a long time, her sister noticed Xiao Yun was still not there. When she tried to call Xiao Yun again, no one answered. Thinking that Xiao Yun was simply taking her time, her sister didn't worry much and went home. The following morning, Xiao Yun's boyfriend and his brother arrived at her sister's door, asking if she'd seen Xiao Yun. Shocked and confused, her sister replied that she hadn't. Xiao Yun was supposed to be with her boyfriend, so why was he now at her door, looking anxious? Concerned, her sister dialed Xiao Yun's number again, but there was still no answer. Later, a villager discovered a body lying by the roadside. Police quickly arrived on the scene and confirmed that the deceased was a young woman. She had been strangled, and there were clear signs of sexual assault. Her clothing had been pushed up above her chest, while the lower half of her body was exposed. Police deduced from these details that she had suffered grievously before her death. The holiday road was usually busy with people visiting relatives, so how could someone have committed such a brazen crime? The deceased's identity was initially unknown, but nearby, police found a mirror, makeup items, and an ID card. The card belonged to Xiao Yun. Alongside the ID, a photo of Xiao Yun with a young man, apparently her boyfriend, was found in her bag. Not long after, a woman's cries were heard nearby. Xiao Yun's sister had arrived and immediately recognized her sister's clothes. The discovery left her devastated, as Xiao Yun was all she had. She and Xiao Yun had been raised by their grandfather after losing their parents at a young age, and he had passed away 10 years earlier. Now, Xiao Yun's tragic death was a blow too painful to bear. Xiao Yun's sister confirmed that the young man in the photo was her boyfriend, Xiao Yun. She remembered that Xiao Yun had said she would visit her sister with her boyfriend. However, Xiao Yun's boyfriend showing up at her sister's door alone, looking nervous, raised suspicion. Immediately brought him in or questioning. Xiao Jun recounted how he and Xiao Yun had taken a 3-wheeler taxi to her sister's house. Just before arriving, he got out to meet his brother, saying he wasn't comfortable going to her sister's home. During the investigation, it was confirmed that Xiao Jun was indeed with his brother at the time of the murder, which villagers also verified. With Xiao Jun's alibi confirmed, police shifted focus to the 3-wheeler driver. Locating him quickly, police discovered that after Xiao Jun left, Xiao Yun was alone in the vehicle. As they neared the driver's village, he told Xiao Yun he was heading home for lunch and requested an additional fare if she wanted to be dropped at her sister's house. Stubbornly, Xiao Yun refused to pay extra, choosing to walk instead. After further investigation, police ruled out the driver as a suspect since he had been home with family during the incident, which was confirmed by a neighbor. This led investigators to conclude that Xiao Yun was attacked on the way to her sister's house. As they continued their inquiries, they learned that Xiao Yun had received several disturbing text messages from Xiao Yun's phone, starting around 8 p.m. on the night of the murder. The messages were explicit and offensive, leading Xiao Yun to believe that someone had either stolen her phone or that she might have been seeing someone else. Given that he had only known her for 3 months, insecurities about their relationship took root. To further their search, police re-examined the scene and received a tip from an anonymous villager who had seen a red motorcycle parked by the roadside that night. This motorcycle became a prime suspect vehicle, potentially belonging to the perpetrator. In another tip, an older villager mentioned seeing a man in the village with fresh scratches on his face, which aligned with the signs of a struggle found at the crime scene. The man was soon found with the red motorcycle. Police arrested a man named Tan, who quickly confessed to murdering Xiao Yun. He claimed that on the night of the incident he had been drinking with friends, and on his way home saw Xiao Yun walking alone. Under the influence of alcohol, he followed her, nudging her with his motorcycle to get her attention. When Xiao Yun responded angrily, his drunken rage took over, and he pulled her aside, assaulted her, and eventually strangled her to death. Tan admitted that he had used Xiao Yun's phone to send lewd texts to her boyfriend afterward. As investigators looked further into Tan's record, they discovered eerie similarities to 2 cold cases from years prior with matching methods. Eventually, Tan also confessed to those murders. Xiao Yun's tragic death left her sister and boyfriend in deep guilt, blaming themselves for her fate. Let this be a reminder to avoid walking alone at night and to take precautions for personal safety.